Here we go. Oops. Did I lose it? Here we go. Okay. Can everybody see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, let's get started. So welcome everyone. We're going to be coming to you today from, well, we're from, I'm not seated in New Mexico right now, but talking to you about Destinations Career Academy of New Mexico. We're really excited. I'm going to have a couple of people just really quickly tell you their name, tell you what role they have, and then how long they've been with us, and then they will reappear later to talk to us about more things. So if we could just go in order of pictures. So Tanya, if you could go first and go down the line really quick.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya. I am the 8th grade history teacher at New Mexico Destination Career Academy, and I've been on board for 6 months.
Okay, I'm Clint Evans. I'm the Assistant Academic Administrator at New Mexico Destinations Career Academy, and I have been here since October.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Whittle, and I teach the Career Explorations, Career Readiness in our middle grades, and I started in January.
Hello, I'm Sharon Williams. I'm serving as the interim head of school for NMDCA, but I've been with Stride for 19 years.
And I am Sophia, and I teach 4th grade science, and I've been with NMDCA since January as well.
I am Sean Wooten. I am the newest to the team. I actually started April the 6th, and I am an academic administrator and glad to be with Stride and learning so much, but really enjoying my time.
My name is Chika Hale, Chai for short. Many of you have been communicating with me. I'm the academic recruiter, and I've been with K-12 Stride for about 5 years.
So this is your group of experts on all things NMDCA. Yes, we do a lot of acronyms around here, and you're going to hear from a lot of them. We'll just go get started. I'll tell you a little bit. You'll see on here that it says Stride Inc. Some of you who have been following us for a while might have questions about that. We recently in December changed from K-12 to Stride as we have widened what we're doing. We still do K through 12 education. Nothing looks different on this side. We're still supporting our students in many ways, but we realize that learning is lifelong. So we've acquired some new organizations to help us do some career development. So we also work with Galvanize, MedCerts, Tech Elevator, and Hack Reactor, offering medical programs, offering boot camps, coding boot camps, and a number of different kind of engineering programs for people once they're done with school and they go to a career academy and they're interested in learning more to continue on with their life learning even more. So you'll see K-12, you'll see Stride, and some of the things we're doing, they both exist. All of it to say is we're us, and we're all making sure that we're offering as many education opportunities as we can. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn this over to Sharon. She's going to talk a little bit about Destinations Career Academy of New Mexico, and then I think from there Sean's going to take it. So
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone, and welcome to this this meet and greet, and we're so glad you're here, and we look forward to hearing more about you. And I always say, you know, when we look at schools or when you're looking for a new job, you are interviewing us as much as we are interviewing you. And so therefore we want to tell you a little bit about us. We'll tell you about what you'll start to see, what kind of culture we have, what kind of opportunities we have for students. We're very student-centered. You can see we serve kindergarten through 12th grade. We have, you know, over 1,300 students. We have over 80 teachers currently, and growing, and you know, we're a school that's growing into next year, and so we thus we're having this meet and greet because we anticipate having open positions because we anticipate enrolling additional students. We're a school that, although there's a computer screen between us and the students, it is not a barrier. In fact, some might argue, and I've been in this role as I shared earlier for a very long time, some of the relationships that we build with students via the tools that we use are stronger than what you might even have in a brick and mortar. It seems counterintuitive to what we might believe, but it is true because much of our interactions are one-on-one or in small groups, and students feel that they seem to open up more, and I see our teachers, nodding their heads, and the relationships are just magical because it is all in a small group. We are currently enrolling or looking for teachers across the board, from kindergarten through 12th grade, our career readiness, science, English, math. So we get a little tickled when we see science teachers interested in working with us. They're tough positions to fill, and math teachers as well. So we are looking for teachers across the board. So with that, I think I will pass it on.
Sean or Clint, was there anything you wanted to add?
I would, and so I have a lot of years, all 26 years of working in New Mexico. And so again, I am the new kid on the block, if there is such a thing, for NMDCA starting in April. But the benefits of working for Stride, to be able to connect with your students, to have that relationship piece, and to have a supporting team is invaluable. I've worked in small districts throughout New Mexico where I had to call my closest neighbor 2 school districts away for an answer, where I can pick up the phone or I can get, and I have resources readily available right now. We have a good curriculum that really promotes our students. It's really differentiated to provide those needs. I've seen some excellent teachers within Stride early on that really have gained a lot of insight and relationships that probably has taken, like Sharon was talking about, brick and mortar, a lot more time. And so these kids come ready to learn. We have a great organization. If you live in New Mexico, what a benefit to live in the state and work for such a strong school. And again, I continue to see it to improve and get stronger, and become more of a family unit, if you will, and really serve the needs of our kids of New Mexico.
Thank you. Clint, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I would just like to say one of the great things about working in a virtual setting is if you're creative or you want to try something a little different, this is a good place for you to try those things and to reach out and engage students, and just be excited about teaching and getting students involved. We're currently, like I said, looking for special ed, secondary math, and science are always in high need. So I saw a couple in the chat saying that they have science and math and health and that type of thing. So that's exciting to me. So, just good to see everyone here and just excited to welcome everyone.
Thanks, guys. I think you guys have also noticed you must be certified in New Mexico and reside in New Mexico for this role, or I think I saw Mark in here said he's moving here at the end of the summer or in the middle of the year. That is a requirement for our schools. So now we're going to talk about how does virtual teaching at Stride work. We have a plethora of teachers that are going to come to you and just tell you a little bit about what it looks like for them, what a day in the life looks like for them, what they teach, what the hours looks like, how many students. I'm going to go ahead and let it start with Sophia, and then Sophia, if you could pass it to Laura, and then Laura to Tanya. Just give us a quick overview.
Okay, well, so I will kind of talk to you guys a little bit about my experience. So our hours are from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. And so those hours kind of vary, but we are working. So whether that is in class teaching our 4 classes a day, or working in small groups or making phone calls to parents to kind of engage with them during our connection calls. We are working through that, whether it's answering emails or planning our lessons for our classes. I did say that we did teach 4 classes a day, 4 30-minute classes a day. Mine always go a little bit extra because, you know, the kids are super engaged. And I do also hold small groups for my students. And so that can be either one-on-one or have, you know, 3 to 4 kids in a class, just for those striving learners. So similar to brick and mortar, where you guys have small groups, it's very similar to a virtual setting. Something else that I do is differentiation is huge in a brick and mortar, but it is also, it also applies here at NMDCA with our virtual settings. So the students are doing their curriculum online or with us in class, but we as teachers have the ability to differentiate the lessons that they do. For example, you might omit a student having a certain exam or kind of require a little bit less, depending on what that student's needs are. We also provide accommodations for the students, just like we do in a brick and mortar. It's very similar, and they're easily translated to a virtual setting, which did take some time to kind of figure out for me. But it's actually really similar. So, you know, students thrive off of praising and encouraging, and it's very similar in a virtual setting. We just don't have them in front of us, but it's really similar in a virtual setting. Something else, when I first started, it was a little bit different. It was kind of weird trying to see and connect between that brick and mortar that we're so used to teaching versus virtual. But honestly, it is so similar, and the kids are still kids. Like I said, I teach 4th grade. So they're still super eager to show and tell something, and they still talk to you. They want to be on camera. They're excited. And so that's really no big deal whatsoever. They love it. I love it. And you can see, as long as you're passionate and you're energetic in your lessons, as you guys can probably tell I am, they thrive off of that. So yeah, that's my little spiel. Miss Laura, you want to go ahead and give us some insight in the middle school grades?
Thank you, Sophia. So as she mentioned, a lot of wonderful things that we get to do that we did in brick and mortar that we also get to do here in the virtual environment. And I want to elaborate a little bit to what Sharon was saying about how you might think that, okay, you can't have that relationship with the students or what you have to offer them, but it truly is quite the opposite of what you think. So here in our school, in the middle grades, they start and they take career classes that give them insight to a bunch of different types of careers, different types of clusters. And from there, they get to grow into what is their interest, what's their pathway to go into high school. So a couple of the resources that we have that you wouldn't have maybe seen in a brick and mortar is that we partner up with a company called NEPRIS. So we get to bring industry professionals into the classroom, and they get that real life exposure. So for example, I brought in an architect, and the architect talked about, building plans. And then we did cross curricular, where I met with the math teachers, and they were going over geometric shapes. So my students designed a floor plan, and they used geometric shapes to make their furniture. And so it was truly project-based learning that students can still have this type of hands-on, even in the virtual environment. And we get to break out into breakout rooms, which is fabulous. So I had 5 different breakout rooms. They had roles in their breakout rooms. And then we ended up they came in, they presented. So you get to do all that you would do in a traditional brick and mortar, but then you get to also increase it and bring in like I said, the professionals. Say you're teaching science, you're teaching the phases of the moon. Everybody has access to NEPRIS. So you can request you want to have someone from NASA, you can go in there and you can actually make that request that you would like to get someone from a specific company, a specific industry, and they try to match you up. So we get to do a lot of cross-curricular activities and then just expose the students to different types of careers that they don't get maybe in a lot of traditional classes. So I love it. It's every day. I'm very passionate about it. So does anyone have any questions? How I can explain how our career academy might be different, or everything that we get to do?
We can do questions in a little bit.
Okay, that's fine, right? You wanted Tanya. Okay, yeah. So, and then also back to the technology tools, right? We can, just like you would have maybe Nearpod, or you would have Quizlet, you get to do all those as well in the classroom. So it's fabulous. Thank you, Tanya.
Well, since Sophia and Laura covered thoroughly the student aspect of it, I would have to concur that it is definitely a student-centered environment, but it's also, and I feel I'm, in a position to say this. I've been in teaching or education for 26 years in almost every aspect of the educational field, from classroom to administration. And I would have to say this is the most teacher-centered environment I've ever worked in compared to brick and mortar. The people here are so wonderful. From the tiniest, how do you turn on your computer, to, okay, show me various websites, to anything that you want. All you have to do is go in Slack and they will help you. I would have to say, in a brick and mortar, over the 20 some odd years, the biggest thing is stay out of the teacher's workroom. Well, here you don't want to stay out of the teacher's workroom, because in brick and mortar, it was about gabbing, but here it's truly professional. I would have to say, the Slack that we, communicate with, it's like mini PLCs all day long, all day, every day. So I would have to say this was a wake-up call to a different world for me, because I had never been in an organization like this, and I've really come to enjoy it, and I don't want to leave.
I want to add a couple of things too that we didn't address, but classroom management, right? So when we're here, you are controlling the microphones, you control the cameras. So your students can you can focus, you can cover the curriculum, and it's not that, if someone needs to be spoken to, you can send an individual chat. And then another thing is that just the relationships that we get to build. So we do one-on-ones. I've had students come in and they share their screen with me. So I walk them through maybe how to access something on their computer, where just by showing me their screen, I can guide them. So you still have that very personal relationship, if not more so, because are you teaching virtual, or are you teaching brick and mortar, that you can just really dedicate time to one particular student, and you have that opportunity, or you can do a group of students, and there's no other students that are going to hear except for the ones that you want to be hearing what's going on.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with both Tanya and Laura. And Tanya, to jump off of what you said, the environment here at NMDCA is absolutely phenomenal. Everybody here is so willing to help. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to any of us. But for us as teachers, we need help, or we don't know about something, we can easily reach out to anybody on staff. And if they don't know if they don't have the exact answer, they will reach out to somebody else and somebody else will answer. We also are able to call the help desk if we need it. So even though we're kind of working on our own virtually, we're so connected. And sometimes in a brick and mortar setting, you don't feel that way. You don't feel as supported. There's so many opportunities at NMDCA for professional development, that we are constantly, getting to learn new things, new resources. And I feel like in a brick and mortar setting that we don't always get that opportunity, but here at NMDCA, administration absolutely strives to make sure that all of our teachers feel equipped to best serve our students.
Yes, and what Sophia was saying about professional development. So in brick and mortar, you might have a couple days a year that you have professional development. Here at Stride, we have access to a library that has plethora, thousands, I don't know, of different videos and instructions that you can watch and you can engage. And we have live sessions. So every Friday you can attend a live professional development. They give you the time, they put it in our schedules to better us. And then they believe in furthering your education. So there's a program with, if you want to go on to get your master's degree, that you can do that. And I'll let maybe someone from HR elaborate more on that. But the professional development is superb, for sure.
Absolutely.
And as they were saying too, Slack. So that's where we can message each other instantly. So if I'm teaching a class, or if I just have a question, I can send Sean something, or I can send Clint or Tanya, and we are instantly connected, immediately there for each other.
And as
So
far
you're
as
not on an island by yourself. You might be at your house teaching, but you are very much a team.
Connected, yeah.
And as far as the professional development, what I enjoy about the PD here is that you can always go back and revisit what you learn. And that's different than brick and mortar. It's like one and done. It's like you attend the conference, oh, I have all these great ideas. And you come back, it's like, oh, I forgot. But with this, you can go back, you can revisit, and, you know, at your own pace. So that's a wonderful piece too.
I was going to ask, and maybe Sophia, this would be a good question for you, to just talk a little bit about how the curriculum works for your role, and then how the platform, you know, how do you deliver this to kids? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay. So the students have their own, so I teach 4th grade science again. And so the students have all of their core classes, meaning ELA, math, science, history, and then whether it be art, music, or any other elective. And so their courses are embedded into their curriculum online, right? And so that means that they are going through the program with their learning coaches. So learning coaches can either be a parent, an adult. And so at the elementary level, the parents or the learning coaches are required to be heavily involved in helping them progress through their curriculum. And so that's going through the lessons, whether it's reading, there are online activities, offline activities for them to do, as well as there's quizzes at the end. And so students are required to get an 80% for mastery on their quizzes for their curriculum. And then as a teacher, what I do is I supplement their learning. So I supplement what they are already receiving in their curriculum online in our live class sessions. And so since I do science, I love doing science experiments and science projects. And so, for example, currently my students are learning about volcanoes. And so I had them do PowerPoint presentations or posters, and they got to research their volcanoes. And so then we are they're presenting them this week is what I had them doing. And so then the teachers in math and ELA, they do have students working on taking their quizzes, and there's also teacher graded assignments. And so then the students turn in their big ideas or big idea assignments, and the teacher will grade those assignments. Yep, super fun. And then, but there's also those online quizzes that are graded as well. And then at the end of each lesson, there is a summative or a unit test for the students to do.
And I'll elaborate with the curriculum because we didn't really discuss that much. So with Stride, you're giving a great foundation with your curriculum, right? So you're not walking in as a new teacher, maybe fresh out of college, and saying, where do I begin? And then turn out that, you know, your teammates aren't helpful. You are giving the content, the material, and then you can adapt it. You can maybe take something out, add something, grow with it. It's fabulous. So yes, very much an award-winning curriculum, and that's provided for you. So you get this guidance, you get the teacher material that can guide you, and then you can take it up, you know, a step, or work with your team and make it even better. But you're not walking in fresh, maybe have never taught, and unsure, oh, where do I begin with a lesson plan, right? You are given that material. So there is very much a structure and a guidance that I can assure you, you don't get anywhere else. And I've been teaching since 2012. I've been in the classroom, and I have children myself. And so then I've done the virtual world as well. And virtual is very much 21st century skills. It's what tomorrow's child knows, right? They know that computer. A lot of times you can give a child, a student, a computer, and they can know it better than you possibly, or a technology. So we are providing what a lot of them have been growing up with.
I just want to mention, and it's connected to the actual curriculum, is student output or student work. I would have to say, because when you think about online, you think everything's online. Oh, they submit everything digitally. And being in history, and being a kinesthetic tactile learner myself, I actually created assignments that was springboarded from the curriculum that were actually kinesthetic and tactile, where the students would actually go and get, good old, paper, pencil, and they would create items, take pictures of them or scan them, and they would send them to me. And they found those to be extremely fun because it reminded them of, what it was like in brick and mortar, but they can do all that too here online. So it's not like, oh, okay, everything's digital. No, you can also, with a creative mind, create assignments for them to do, to capture those learning styles for those students.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I noticed there was a question about work in your personal life balance. And this has by far been the best where I've ever worked. And part of that reason is I get to wake up, I get to have my coffee, and then I get to go down to my space, my classroom, and I'm not having to drive, right? And I don't have to drive anywhere to get to my school building or drive back home. So just that time that you're not spent driving somewhere, and like we were saying with the curriculum, what they provide you, all that time adds up to hours that I get to spend with my family or doing something outside of my work. I do love it. And I do find that, oh, I'm just going to go open it up and I'm going to learn something new or do more. But it's, the time that I've saved in other aspects of going into a physical building it's life-changing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, we're working from home, that we're in the comfort of our own home. So that is, the biggest pull. I think that it's huge that we're working from the comfort of our own home. I know some people might be afraid for health reasons or because of COVID, we don't have that. We don't have to worry about that, and so that is definitely, like Laura said, it's definitely a huge perk. Absolutely.
Exactly. And as Sophia was saying, we're in the comfort of our own home. Well, our students can feel that way too, right? So they do feel like it's a safe place for them, where they're in their home and they can speak. They may be less judgmental of their other peers. So there's a comfortness with the students that the students have too, and that you get to have a better relationship with them.
Well, thank you guys for providing just kind of a background for us. This is just kind of more information, lots of support and training. We are motivated by what we do, and we also have some great benefits. So that's just a page, just so we can go ahead and talk about why most of you are here. You want to know about the jobs. So I'm going to really quickly Chai has put it in here a couple of times. You go to stridelearning.com/careers, and then you'll see the arrow right here, teaching and academic support opportunities. You can type in New Mexico and a whole list of roles that are available will come up. And then let me go ahead and I'm sure you guys have already spoke to Chai, most of you, but let her take the wheel and talk about kind of what she's doing, what she's looking for, what roles, all that good stuff. So take it away.
So, yeah, I have communicated with a few people via email. So what we look for, obviously, is your certification. You do need to be certified in the state of New Mexico. If you're not certified yet, then I like to keep in touch with you. And then as soon as your certification is active, I invite you to reach out to me again so that I can review your resume and send you to HireVue. HireVue is the platform that we use. It's the first step where you complete a digital interview. And at first that may sound scary to some people because you're recording yourself on your laptop. We do give you the instructions beforehand so that you can review it. We do ask that you teach a lesson. I often get people saying, but I don't have students to teach to. And I'm like, you don't need any students. We're just asking you to teach as if you were looking at your classroom or presenting to your classroom, but students are not required. And then we ask you to record yourself on YouTube and then paste us your link. Make sure your link is public so that we can actually open it and see it. From there, our hiring managers go and review your digital interview. And if you're moved to the next step, they ask you directly. We do a Zoom interview with you and so on and so forth. And then hopefully you're offered a position and we can move forward. What happens after? Okay, is this for me, Keisha, this slide?
For all of it. So I just skipped over. I was like, well, if you're going to talk about it, let me go ahead and put it in there. But you already talked about it. You'll do a sample video. A hiring manager will invite you to do a final. And if selected, you'll be extended. A lot of people have been asking us about the timeline. We generally say it's about 4 weeks. If you're in the process and you're like, well, what's going on? We just open a ton of jobs this week, Chai? This week?
Yes, just yesterday and today.
So, so we are actually, if you're applying, we're getting it and we're reviewing and we're putting you through the process. But, we're excited for every single person that applies, but know that there's going to be some timing as we're preparing to get you guys ready to go for the next school year and making sure that we can get interviews in process and all of those things. So I will say there is a unique opportunity only for this school. If you are if you are certified in New Mexico and live in New Mexico, there's an opportunity tomorrow. Is tomorrow Thursday? Tomorrow, April 29th, from 3 to 6. We're going to share the link right now in the chat. Courtney, if you can put it in there. You do have to provide your resume and your certification. It's really, really simple to use. You sign up, you choose your time. It's 30-minute intervals. You put your resume in, you put your certification in, and you'll have the opportunity to speak to one of our admins tomorrow about opportunities with our school. This barely ever happens. So for those of you who are ready, who are, in New Mexico, who are our science teachers that shouted out at the beginning, who are, all of the other places that you're coming from, this is an opportunity to learn more, to be able to get in front of people quickly, and be able to connect. And Chai, is there anything else you want to say about that?
No, I think we're good. We do prefer teachers who live in New Mexico. I think we are extending now to the border states. So Arizona, Texas, Utah, Oklahoma. But you must be able to travel to New Mexico if asked to. That's maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Obviously, we haven't done it because of COVID, but in future. And you must be certified in New Mexico. I don't know if Sharon wants to add anything to that.
I have something just quickly to add. So I know that, and I'm just being totally honest, when I first applied to Stride, I kept delaying my application because I was just so intimidated to record that video. And even like at the beginning of this, I was just nervous to talk to you guys. But as time progresses, you kind of just relax a little bit and it becomes more natural. So just the biggest tip is to just be yourself. It really is just, that's really what's going to stand out the most is if you just, calm down. You might need to record it 2 times like I did. But just, just relax and just do it. Just record that video, submit your application, and, we'll see, and we'll see what happens from there.
That's a really good point. You, if you mess up, you can re-record yourself.
And
You
I
do
wanna
get a
add to-
undo. Yeah, sorry, Laura, go
No,
ahead.
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, we truly have a very supportive administration. So they're there for us. It's comfortable. You interact with them. You can go to them. There's no intimidation, and you'll love working here and teaching.
So we just talked about how do you apply. So that's just going up again. Just to let you know, if you are interested in us, want to know about upcoming events, want to know about new jobs coming out. So if you're like, hey, I just want to know if you put out anything else, we do all that through our talent community. You can actually put your phone up to this QR code and sign up. You just add your name and your email address, and you'll learn about kind of all the future things that we're going to, other events that we're going to. So if we're going to any schools or big events in your state, you'll have the opportunity to hear about us coming there, and want you to come by and say hi. You can also follow us at Careers at Stride. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, lots of places. So we're ready for questions from everyone. I see some people are already in the chat answering them, but if you have any questions for anybody on our team and want to get some answers, please let us know. And I know it always takes a second for somebody to come up with a question, and then it all appears. Yes, everyone who's ready to interview, who have their certifications in hand, we're very, very excited to talk to people. It's going to be from 3 to 6 tomorrow, and you will be able to come in and talk to the admins.
It's a really good question in the chat about how do we test students for IEPs. Frankly, serving our students with special needs is not that much different, and I might argue better, because I'm going to argue better, in our model. And we contract with school psychiatrists, school psychologists across the state, close to where the student lives. They get observed, they test, and they go through the same IEP process that you would find in a brick and mortar school.
Laura is asking what the school year looks like. Is it a traditional school year?
We do follow, so we partner with the Gallup-McKinley School District, and we follow their school calendar. So it is a traditional calendar.
Mary, I'm not certain what you're asking. So if you can give me a little bit more clarification. Chai, Crystal's asking, one of the jobs is for elementary school teacher. How should is the elementary school teacher responsible for all subject areas?
That's a great question. We do, I can't find a word right this minute. Departmentalize. Thank you. We do departmentalize in some of our grades and not in all. So in our younger grades, kind of like traditional brick and mortar, our younger teachers will be teaching all subjects. And as they get older, they'll be departmentalized. Hopefully that helps answer that question for elementary teachers, as we are looking for, if you are you have a specialty, and we'll be asking this during the interviews, your specialty at the upper grade elementary, is it math, is it science? My experience has been not all great math teachers are great reading teachers, and vice versa. And so we want to make sure that the students of New Mexico get our best and try to align ourselves and align our teachers with their strengths so we can serve all of our students.
There are also 2 questions in the Q&A section.
I did answer one of them.
How long does it normally take to hear back from interviews?
We actually try not to make it too long, except if we're having multiple events and we have to make a full decision. So typically, within 1 to 2 weeks, you will hear back. Mary asked if you're registering for tomorrow, do you get an appointment with a recruiter one-on-one? You'll be interviewed, and if there's any questions that you have during that interview, anyone who's interviewing you should be able to answer the questions. If we need to grab a recruiter for your questions, we certainly can do that. We are not hiring international teachers at this time, mostly for reasons that our HR department can talk much more fluently than I can, but we are not doing that. Awesome.
There was, I'm not sure about this one. Does Stride follow the Tier 3 and TESOL endorsements? I'm not sure.
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about pay.
Okay.
I'm not really asking me if we follow things. We do recognize levels and endorsements, if that's what the question is.
Salary schedule is not the same as public schools. So here at Stride, we do have our own salary. You can learn more about that actually during the interview process, or you can message Chai. She has put her email in here as well. We do not publish a step salary in ways that some of the public schools do, but we still give you the information as you're going through the interview process.
We are aware that there is statute for salaries, but there's not a statute for scale. And so we are meeting the level 1, level 2, and level 3 to the best of our ability. But then from there, it doesn't grow. We do different things to recognize teachers. And so it will not look like a traditional step that you might be accustomed to.
And to just follow up, as we were saying, the professional development and the chance for a master's degree. So typically a lot of public school systems, they don't pay for that higher education, that master's program. And the teachers here can go into and get their master's program, and it is reimbursable. So that's the big amount. That's huge.
I meant to type this in and I actually accidentally typed answer live, but we are a public school. Not a private school. I was about to type it.
Sorry, yes, just the brick and mortar in the county. Yeah.
Definitely. It says, if hired on, will we receive training to get us familiar with the online platform and tools before school starts in the fall? Laura is asking. Absolutely. It's 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just answering in the chat box. I was going to say, yeah, it's 2 weeks of training, and then we have PDs that the teachers in here know. We do PDs almost every week, but
Yes, we do.
multiple times a month to update on things and stuff. So yeah, we're always training, we're always learning, just like our students.
Chris was asking, how are teacher evaluations done? Is it similar to public schools?
Yeah, as teachers assigned, so we're a program of a school district, and so actually the school district principals do walkthroughs and contribute and put those walkthroughs into the state system. And then you also receive walkthroughs from the NMDCA team. Clint's here, Sean's here, I'm here. We do walkthroughs all the time and try to provide as much feedback as possible. So again, so students get the best out of all of our teachers.
There's a question, are there any summer work opportunities for teachers?
We are working right now establishing, so this is a brand new school. I know that was on, I think, slide 1, but that was so long ago. It is a brand new school, and we are working right now on a summer program. So for some, there might be some opportunity. There's no promise for that. And if teachers want to take the time off, we certainly encourage them to do so and take that break. But there could be some opportunities for summer work. Mentor teachers, yeah. Yes. We were just talking about that last week, talking about the need for mentor teachers. So again, as a new school, everybody was new, everybody. Some of our staff members didn't have an opportunity to meet others from other schools, but for the most part, they leaned on each other this year. Next year, I have 80 plus mentors ready to go because we're no longer new, and we'll have a veteran staff returning, so we're very excited about that. So there'll be plenty of support.
There's a question. I don't know. In order to apply for a level 2 or level 3 license, you need administrator support. Is this support provided?
Yes.
What's the first day of school for teachers for next year?
That's a great question. We are waiting on our partner districts calendar approval, and they are working with their teachers and teacher union to establish their school calendar. And so we wait. And so there isn't a date. I can tell you it's probably going to be somewhere around mid-August. We have already planned to bring our team back. So this is probably even a better question. We're planning on bringing our team back July 21st, Clint, is that the right answer?
We'll go with that.
We're gonna go with that. It's either the July 21st or
21st
or the week after, but we want lots of time for staff to get to know each other, to train, to hone skills, to set up classrooms. Although you're not putting up bulletin board paper, I was an elementary teacher, just in case that's not clear from that statement. But you certainly do have an online classroom to develop and work through. You want to create videos for your students, et cetera, and to really make the classroom home. So it feels like you're walking through a door. So it feels like you're meeting the teacher right there. And so there's a lot of pre-work to be done. We also try to spend time with our students before school starts to get to know them, welcome them, call them, have, meetups just like this or Zoom calls. So we do try to do a lot prior to school starting in order for our students to be successful. That was long-winded to what's the first day of school. I don't know.
You have time. I think that's what you're saying. Plenty of time.
You got time. Yeah, it's not starting.
Just to let everyone know, we're running into the last few minutes of this. So if you have a last question, this is me offering last questions to be able to have this great group of people answer. Please kind of let us know now. If I've already completed the interview with the video lesson, should I sign up tomorrow? Yes.
Please. Anybody who wants to interview tomorrow, sign up. If all the other things apply and you like what you hear. How about that for the caveat?
Okay, gonna give it another 30 seconds. Is there any last questions that you guys want to have this group of people answer? We're here and available. Does anyone need the link again? Is everybody good to go?
Come join us. We will welcome you. We will teach you and give you all our tools that we have learned.
We're putting the link, the application. Yes, Maria, we also have positions in Pennsylvania with equally fabulous, well, I don't know if they're equally fabulous people, but with also fabulous people. Thank you all. Thank you, Laura. We're very excited to be able to have conversations with you all tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate you taking out time after you've been on Zoom all day to be able to come in and connect with us. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you guys for joining and listening.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you.
everybody.
See some of you next
Bye.
school year.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.